Welcome everybody. Today's video finds us over here in Ayutthaya. And as you can see behind me, this is the former royal palace. So we're on the north end of the city island, and we're going to take a look at a temple that actually predates the city and the founding of Ayutthaya. So it predates 1350. And it was a very important temple because of its proximity to the royal palace. Anyway, we're going to walk around here. We're going to see a few things. So it has a cool chetty with some lions. It has a nice reclining Buddha, has a humongous vihan, and a few other things. So let's look around here and let's see what we see. This is a little bit of what's left of the old wall, and in here would have been the royal palace. Now they don't let you in here anymore. They have it all blocked off, but they used to let people walk around here and explore it. But mostly what you see out there are some foundations of some of the buildings and stuff like that. Almost all the buildings were made out of wood, so those buildings would have been gone, and all that's left is basically the brick wall and a few other foundations and stuff. Right over there, that is one of the best temples, Wat Thammikarat Temple, and it was also like the personal temple of the king. And we're going to look around in here. So this is a little bit of what you see right here when you first come in. This is on the north side of the temple grounds. This is an old well, and this well, believe it or not, is like 13 meters in diameter. And they had some terracotta pipes that went out into the old city moat, and I guess they used this well until 1957. So now it's abandoned. It's just sitting here. The water looks all stagnated. It would have been a lot better whenever it was in use. So we're going to go in here. There's a couple statues of King U-Thong and a few other things. They have the Bodhi tree out here. And I'm not sure what this was. It's full of water now. I don't know if it was another well or if they've added it later on. But here we are, Wat Dhammikaraj. And this is a free temple. You don't have to worry about paying. It is kind of away from where most people come. You'll have to get over here by a tuk-tuk, or you can ride a motorcycle or a bicycle over here. This temple was abandoned during the fall of Ayutthaya, and it was later restored by King Chulalongkorn, Rama V. So what you see has been restored since him. And this would have been completely destroyed whenever the Burmese captured the city, so not a whole lot would have been here. What you see right here is a humongous Buddha head. Now, whenever they renovated it, King Chulalongkorn, they found a massive Buddha head, and they've since moved it to the Bangkok Museum. And I've seen it in the Bangkok Museum, and I didn't realize that it had came from this temple. But now they have a little shrine and stuff like that here. You can see a little bit of the outer wall that would have been for the temple. Down here, they have a few like shrines and stuff like that, places you can get the candles and the flowers and the joe sticks. Okay, so this is our first thing that we're going to take a look at is inside this old vihan. And this has a really fantastic reclining Buddha inside of it. And it sounds like we have a monk that's doing some of the chanting in here. So we have a place here to burn the joe sticks. Now, I don't know if this is an original image and then they restored it, but I believe it's a Sukhothai Buddha. Okay, so here's the monk. So he's doing some of the water blessings. You can see a painting over there. And then this is a fantastic old hall. So a lot of those temples that you see that are just down to the base, you'll see a little bit of these square columns. And this is what they would have looked like when they were new. And what's in here is this really nice reclining Buddha. And it's kind of tough with these old halls because they have these brick columns, and so you can't really get a good vantage of the Buddhas. You can see here, all the toes are the same length, and his hand up there, and he's wearing his robe, and it has the umbrella over his head. So if you've ever been to like Wat Po, you run into the same problems where it's really hard to get a good look at the Buddha itself. Look at that, that is really nice. You see the face is the elongated face. So it's the Sukhothai style. Really, really nice. This is about as good a look as we can get of it here. See the face, those little hair rolls, and the top knot. And this hall. I really, really like seeing these old Ayutthaya style halls. with that red teak wood. And then they have another little Buddha here. And then they have like a really old marker stone that's right here. They have a little bit of the gold leaf on it. And the Thais come here and they'll pray to it and do all of their thing. And you see they have like the little slits in the windows, little slits in the wall for a little breeze plus some natural light. You can see the feet here has those little Buddha symbols on it. Yeah, really, really nice. And here's the painting that they have over here. Really a nice thing. And in the back wall, it's just really plain, but it's simple. I really like halls like this. And then they have an old stone here. Not sure what the significance of this is. It kind of looks like a Buddha footprint. You can see maybe the toes up there. So this might have been like a really, really old Buddha footprint that they found at the site. I'm speculating, but it has the look of it anyway. And here's like a little shrine of the reclining Buddha. And you can see how these halls were built. You see the brick back there, and then they put the plaster on top of it. And they have a royal lineage here. Now this temple here has a lot of significance for certain events that happened. The Royal Chronicles, the parts that they still have, they talk about like the last real major event at this was in 1757 when one of the Thai kings died, Boromma. I can never remember his name exactly, but he died and they almost had a civil war because there was no clear succession. And the head abbot here at this temple brought the 5 sons together and they formed a consensus to where there wasn't a civil war. But it didn't matter because a few years later the city was sacked by the Burmese and destroyed. So you see here's these little chetties here. You see a little bit of the styling on them, a little bit of the walls and bases and stuff. And then here you have this really nice chetty. Here's a Naga. And I really enjoy seeing things like this. So you have the lions. And there's another temple that's Wat Mueng that has the lions also. And then Mae Nam Plume has a chetty with the elephants, I believe. It might be the lions, I can't remember exactly, but there's the figures. So there's 3 temples here that have the old figures in Ayutthaya. And it has this little pedestal here that you can walk around. And just look at this chetty. So it would have been whitewashed, would have had styling all up there, and it would have went up into the bell. And there would have been a couple inches of the plaster. Now you see here, this is laterite stones, and then they put brick on top of it. So they robbed one of the old Khmer temples probably to build the base of this. And there were some Khmer ruins as well as some Dawadi ruins on the other side of Ayutthaya. And then over there, you see that little body of water? There was a water ceremony that they would do. There is a little data plate here that does talk about this was a bell-shaped chetty with the lions that are Khmer style. And it was built over another chetty that was right here. And the chetty right now dates back to the early Ayutthaya era. So right over here, this is a little vihan that all that's remaining is kind of the base. And they have a statue of King U-Thong up there. He is the founding king, the first king of Ayutthaya. And they have all these chickens here, and the chickens date back to King Narasawan. There's a story about him fighting, his fighting chicken against the prince from Burma. And you can see a little bit of the stucco right there, and you can see the size of the bricks they used on the foundation. And then there's a few of the outer walkway here, and then you can see the support columns. Now you can't climb up on this ruin here. You can just look at it from the side. But right here is the base of a humongous seated Buddha. So you can see his feet right there and his legs. So you would have came in right here and you would have prayed and done all of that, and the humongous Buddha right there. And you can just see how it was constructed. They used those bricks and then the stucco to form the body of it. Yeah, that's really, really nice. And then right over there, you can see that's more of the royal palace. And then on the other side here, this is the real treat, is this humongous vihan. And you can see those little slots for windows, just like that little building with the reclining Buddha. And you can see the octagonal shaped columns and then inside. So we'll go in here and look now. Check out that Bodhi tree that's growing here. Its roots intertwined into that side of the wall. Yeah, that's really cool. You can see the base of this right here. Just unbelievable how many bricks they used. Now I like to come here and I like to see these, and I just like to envision what this looked like whenever it was new. I mean, there would have been houses all around here. There would have been canals with boats. People would have been doing everything. There was a little market just to the north of here on the city moat, up on where the Laburi River is now. And this temple would have been just massive, and it would have been white with the tile roof, and people would have been coming and going. It's hard to imagine how amazing Ayutthaya would have been. Now look at the size of those columns. And they would have had like the lotus blooms up there on the top. So this would have been a balcony on the front here of this, and those would have been octagonal shaped. Now they have a little shrine here, and they have another picture of that big Buddha head. And then the last building we'll look at is right over here. It's another working building. I like how they still use buildings like this. I wish they would do more of this in Ayutthaya. So there's quite a bit of the styling still left on the front here. And it looks like some of the plasters came off here. You can see a little bit of the ruin that's down here on the ground. But just look at the thickness of that plaster that covered over those bricks. And this would have all been detail work. And then right up here would have had that little Chedi symbol and some other Buddha images. And then you'd had a huge high threshold. So you would have came in here, and this would have had those humongous columns. This would have been just a gigantic hall. And then over here would have been the raised platform for the monks. Oh, this would have been unbelievable. And just imagine having like the ceremonies at night where everybody's bringing candles in. Oh, it would have been really cool. And then you can see the little slits in the walls. So these walls were not load-bearing. Some of them you see, the walls were load-bearing. When they were, they wouldn't have these columns. But the roof would have been too heavy for those walls, so they had these huge columns. But what is cool is you can see how they constructed those columns. So these bricks were like cut into triangles, and then they just put them into a circle. And then down here, they had a little different shapes. They would cut those into little quadrilaterals. I got some benches and stuff here now for people to come over that are looking at it to rest. You would have had a platform here, and then the main Buddha image. So I don't know if they found that big head inside of this temple building itself right here, or if it was outside over there. But probably in here, because this building is just absolutely massive. And you have some stairs that would have went up there to that platform. And I don't know how tall these columns are, but they're just absolutely massive. And you can see the back wall. So the back wall is really thick. You can see what's left of it. And then they have a high threshold here also. And you would have came back here and there would have been a little porch. And there probably would have been like a standing Buddha here. But you can see the styling around those little window slits, how they did that. Oh, that's really nice. And then two more huge columns. So the importance of this is being close to the royal palace. Is the king and all the other royals would have been able to just walk straight from there over into this temple. So they would have came over here. So this temple would have had to been, just immaculate, since it would have been, basically a royal temple. Okay, so let's look at this last hall right here. And then you can see here they would have the covered porch on the outside. This over here is the ordination hall. This is where they, the novice monks come here to do the ceremony. Plus they do the morning and the evening chanting from in here. You can see here, these are octagon shaped also. So this hall right here is an old ruin hall that they've built like a roof over it. You can see the old walls here. So they've took the old building and you can still use it a little bit, which I really like that. I wish they did more of that to the ruins, to where it still makes like it's a ruin, but you still have it functional instead of just like a pile of bricks. So this is the inside of this hall. You see here, this is a painting of King Chulalongkorn. This is what I'm talking about. This is the old building. You can see the old walls, and then they built a new building over the top of it. So it's still, a ruin, but it's able to be used. So the monks can come in here and do all their things, and it's out of the weather. The Thais, can come over here and pray and do all of that. Check out this temple though, this Buddha. It's a Sukhothai style. It's a little different look in the face. It's quite nice, and he's closing this up, so we just barely got in here in time. And then they have a painting of that big Buddha head. And originally this would have had mural paintings all inside of here. The old murals from the Ayutthaya kingdom are really nice. There's not very many of them left anymore, so the ones you do get to see are quite cool. All right, so we got to see everything here at this temple. You can see what it looks like now. So this is all the new construction over the top of those old walls. Kind of cool how they've done it here. They put these little arches with the flowers, and then you can see over here at that Chetty and the little Naga. Places for people to come take pictures. That's going to finish up our video over here at this temple. This is fantastic. This vihan right here, they called it the Phra Song Dhamma, I believe. This was named that way because it was close to the royal palace. And I guess the royals, would come over here frequently to listen to the sermons and everything. So this was a really important hall. Styling is early Ayutthaya to middle Ayutthaya, and just really worth coming over here and taking a look at. This is one that most tourists don't come over here to. It's not really on the maps for people to come and see, but it's near other things. So you're just on the north part of the island. It's an easy, if you're like taking a tuk-tuk tour, tell them to come over here and take a look at this. Now, I've been here before. It was like 2 years ago or so, but I was in the area today, so I wanted to take a look. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button and leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think, and I'll pin a comment to like a video I did of like the 20 things to do here in Ayutthaya to give you a few more ideas of things that you might want to see while you're here in the city. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, stick around, and then you're notified when I post a new video. I do a lot of these old temples and stuff like this. I really like it. So hopefully you'll stick around. That way you're notified when I post new content. And from over here in Ayutthaya, remember, life is a journey. Until next time, enjoy.